Earth's great ice sheets, Greenland and Antarctica, are now losing mass 6 times faster than they were in the 1990s thanks to warming conditions. A comprehensive review of satellite data acquired at both poles is unequivocal in its assessment of accelerating trends, say scientists. Between them, Greenland and Antarctica lost 6.4 trillion tons of ice in the period from 1992 to 2017. This was sufficient to push up global sea levels by 17.8 millimeters. "That's not a good news story," said Professor Andrew Shepherd from the University of Leeds in the UK. Today, the ice sheets contribute about a third of all sea level rise, whereas in the 1990s, their contribution was actually pretty small at about 5%. This has important implications for the future, for coastal flooding and erosion, he told BBC News. It's a team of experts who have reviewed polar measurements acquired by observational spacecraft over nearly 3 decades. These are satellites that have tracked the changing volume, flow and gravity of the ice sheets. IMBY's Antarctica assessment was lodged with the journal Nature in 2018. Its Greenland summary was published in the print edition of the periodical this week. The team has used the latest milestone to offer some general remarks. The key one is the recognition that ice losses are now running at the upper end of expectations when compared with the computer models used by the Authoritative Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC). In the panel's 2014 assessment, its mid-range simulations RCP 4.5 suggested global sea levels might rise by 53 centimeters by 2100. But the IMBY team's studies show that ice losses from Antarctica and Greenland are actually heading to much more pessimistic outcomes, and will likely add another 17 centimeters to those end-of-century forecasts. If that holds true, it would put 400 million people at risk of annual coastal flooding by 2100, said Professor Shepherd. What our latest estimates mean is that the timescales people are expecting will be shorter. Whatever town or coastal planning measures you're intending to put in place, they need to be built sooner. Greenland and Antarctica are responding to climate change in slightly different ways. The southern polar ice sheet's losses come from the melting effects of warmer ocean water attacking its edges. The northern polar ice sheet feels a similar sort of assault but is also experiencing surface melt from warmer air temperatures. Of that combined 17.8 mm contribution to sea level rise, 10.6 mm (60%) was due to Greenland ice losses and 7.2 mm (40%) was due to Antarctica. The combined rate of ice loss for the pair was running at about 81 billion tons per year in the 1990s. By the 2010s, it had climbed to 475 billion tons per year. The delivery of the IMBY results was timed so they could be incorporated into the IPCC's next big assessment of the state of Earth's climate, the so-called Sixth Assessment Report (AR6), due out next year. Professor Shepherd warns that future intercomparisons risk being of poorer quality because of the likely near-term demise of some dedicated polar satellites and the lack of clear and urgent plans to replace them. His particular concern is to see successors to the European Space Agency's CRYOS-AT2 satellite and the American Space Agency's ICES-AT2 platform. These models observe more of the ice sheets than other satellites because they fly orbits that go very close to the North and South poles.